What's up guys, this is Gesture of None, welcome back to Space Engineers Isolation. We are going to do a quick fix for that problem we were having earlier. We're going to build with our ship not transferring properly. When we bought it from the designers, they were idiots and they did not design it properly. They have failed to connect the cargo ship properly. So what we're going to do is quickly run the welder over this, make a grinding... must have been damaged a little bit. Make a grinder, which we'll be able to use for other things in future too. Make a grinder and then just grind off this one. Oh, not enough. Grind off this one thing. Cargo container. That's it. Grind off this one cargo container. 2 motors. We can get that. Grind off this one cargo container and move on with our lives, because it's just this one cargo container that's holding us back. After that we'll be able to put lots of stuff into that cargo container, pull lots of stuff out of it, and various other exciting things. I think I just explained to you the function of a chest, of a storage container. Hopefully we can do this without destroying our whole ship. It shouldn't be connected to anything serious. So I'm going to move the ship out of the way. If it does destroy our whole ship, you know, I'm probably going to just... Oh, I built a fucking welder. I built a fucking welder. Oh, you idiot. I built a fucking welder. I'm gonna go ahead and weld this down. Maybe I'll even cut this out because it is embarrassingly stupid. I probably won't though, because I think my stupidity is the fodder for these Let's Plays. I'm gonna go ahead and take that out and then put a grinder in. Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, I'll just mention this quickly. I'm sorry if any of the language I use offends you. I'm in the habit of... That's definitely a grinder, right? I'm in the habit of using like phrases like Jesus Christ. I'm not sure if it's English or if it's anything else, but it's just a habit. And I'm really sorry if you're one of those people who is both religious and offended by blasphemy. There's not many people who are not at least a little bit religious and not offended by blasphemy, so I don't really know what I mean by if you're religious and offended by blasphemy. I don't know why it didn't complete. Maybe we had just one component missing. So let's move our ship back a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry if you're offended by any other language I use. I guess there's not much to do about it. I mean, I'm not going to change. Yeah, so it's not much of an apology. It is an apology in so far as, look, I'm sorry I don't mean to offend. But beyond that, I mean, it's your choice whether you want to keep watching and just ignore the blasphemy, or maybe even not making too big of a deal out of it and really no one cares about blasphemy anymore. I guess we'll see in the comments below. I don't want all my comments to be about blasphemy. That would be so weird. Okay, grinder on. Okay, it's not grinding up the ship. So we're going to have to be very careful about this. So anyway, if I accidentally do destroy the whole ship doing this, I will probably fix it off camera in creative mode and come back and say, oh look, we managed it. And you won't know the difference. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, we're much lighter now as well. Okay, we're going to go around and turn that off without killing ourselves. We're going to leave this grinder here. It might come in handy a bit in the future. We're also going to put a new cargo container in and make sure it is properly connected. I always do have a little bit of a hassle figuring these bloody things out. And naturally I haven't got any plate. Interior. I do have steel plate. Is it interior plate? Yes, it is interior plate. We spent a long time covering this, didn't we? Let's get some from this big cargo container. It should have some left. I would be really surprised if it had nothing left. Where is it? Oh, it's there. Yeah. I'm not going to grind it to completion because I don't know if the grinder already picked out everything from it, or if actually it only does that when it finishes grinding everything down. Okay, so let's just check. One side, two side. Okay, there's big connectors there, and there. This should be correct. I have trouble seeing whether... I think this is right. Let's go with it. Construction components, computer motor display. Construction components, computer motor display. Display, computers. Okay, we should have this done now. Just manually weld this all up, and we will be able to properly move things about in our ship, and also dump all of the extra cargo we have. Well, that's a pretty efficient method of transferring it all pretty quickly. Apart from that, it's nowhere near as efficient as just transferring it away the way that it's, you know, designed to be. Oh yeah, we're much more flexible, whatever the word I'm looking for is. So we are going to grind down some more components, see if we can find more storage containers and stuff like that to get up some interior plating. We'll probably go through the center of the ship because there's lots of interior plates there. Build another cargo container, and also finally put some gravity down, so we solve that whole, you know, instant death thing when we can't find gravity. We will need to at some point build a med bay, but we aren't able to right now. We're not going to be able to build a med bay for a little while because we have no medical components, and we won't get any medical components anytime soon. We need to steal a ship or scavenge a ship that has medical components in before we'll ever get medical components, because we have no way of building them. I'm pretty sure the assembler and the refinery and the ship have been destroyed. Ideally we'd find a mining ship and we can just take their refinery and some of the ores that they have, because it might be worth having a refinery, but not very worth having a refinery. Do you know what I mean? Because we will occasionally get ores from scavenged ships, but we will very rarely get enough ore to make it worth it. So we will build one. We just won't use it that often, I guess. But an assembler would be great, so we can disassemble, basically, mainly just so we can disassemble and make the raw materials. And that way we have a little bit more renewability. Perfect. We should really make a grinder and a welder ship. I might make a blueprint of the ship and have it printed. I mean, have it printed in the game, like have it. Have it printed makes it sound like there's someone else there who's going to do it for me. I'm going to do it myself using a projector. I could have been talking about getting it 3D printed in real life, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's a ship. It's not like the ship. It's not our forever ship. But I can totally see, I can absolutely see taking an iteration of the ship through our whole Let's Play series. Updating it, changing it a little bit to make it a little bit better, a little bit more functional. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Actually, though, I like having the one welder on it, because we're going to need it for both, and it seems silly to keep switching between different ships. So it makes sense to have a grinder and a welder. It does not make sense to bash your ship against everything you pass. Also, it doesn't make sense to leave that on. What is that? Looks like an assembler. Oh, it's a cargo container. See, look, we can just stick our face in and we'll get a bunch of components. Gradually the ship's going to disappear and we'll be left in the middle of nowhere with no way to get new resources. So it's going to get pretty desperate at some point. I think we've got enough reactor components left over to build a second reactor. And there's definitely some batteries somewhere in here. So we've got some components for batteries. But which means we can make a ship that can go and get more resources. But it's not really a good, ideal situation to have it battery powered. We don't want to be far away from home with no way of getting back. We definitely need to build a beacon, and that's going to be priority number 1 at some point. Oh, the trouble with these bloody broken bits is that you can't see where you're supposed to be targeting to get them. We might have to go in and manually weld some of this stuff. Grind some of this stuff, because it's going to be pretty hard getting in there with this ship. We can get some of this door, though. Oh, actually, we can get this. I think this is the one we were using as a little temporary storage. Oh, no, that's the other side, because it's close to our base. We're also going to have to deal with this minefield at some point, but navigating it will literally be a minefield. So that'll be a pain, but I think we'll probably just physically go up to every mine and push them away, rather than spend the risk of grinding them down in the ship or manually. It's just not worth it. I mean, I don't think it's that dangerous. You can easily just not fire at them, and I guess they won't set off. But, I mean, still, I don't want to have to risk anything at all. Let's get this foot. As you can see, I'm playing with a few mods. Like these engines aren't default engines. I think that's the only thing that's not default on here. I've got a little converter between a large cargo container and a small one. A large port and a small port for conveyors, because I hate the fact that you can't attach an oxygen tank directly to a cockpit. One of them is a big and one of them is a little. And if you do, well, you kind of do it, but you have to find some way of attaching a container behind it. Or it's just in this configuration, it doesn't make sense. If you look at the Keen default ship, it also has the same problem. They have to have a big converter block in between, conveyor block in between. Sorry, I don't know why I'm mining these. I don't need these right now, and I probably will never mine them. I'll probably end up just destroying them. Like, we'll take the time to build a charge and blow them up. I'm going to check my inventory space. I wish I had the mod that gives you a percentage of your inventory full. Like, tells you how much percentage you've got full. We have reactors? Wow, I didn't realise there were reactors left in this. I thought I cut them all out. Inventory's getting pretty close, but the grinder's empty, so we've got a little bit of wiggle room. We can come back here and get some of these interior plate things. Good. Thank you very kindly. You too, thank you very much. So one of the things we're going to make at a certain point is a way of just dropping a ship into a grinder, like a big array of grinders that, like, you just chuck ships in there and they will eventually get ground down. It is a bit of a dangerous thing because I have grinders cause shake on. Like when you grind something down, it causes it to shake, which it just makes sense, honestly. But I might turn it off because it's so counterproductive. I saw on a planet someone who had a welding pit, which is something I've always wanted to do, where you just weld. You just drop stuff in and it welds, and that's because gravity, like natural gravity that affects ships, exists on planets and it doesn't exist in space. And you have to put gravity blocks on stuff in space for it to work, which is a little bit inconvenient. So we can't make welding pits in space. I did make once a big welding hole, I guess is the first thing to call it. I'm not saying, whoops, I'm not saying pit because I just used the word pit to mean something else. But it was like it was a pit. With at the bottom it had collectors, and then I just stood over it and manually ground down objects, like big ship parts, and then I would do it with the full inventory, and everything would just fall into the pit and then get picked up by the collectors. And I made it out of armor plate because it was just a little bit more resilient, and you sometimes drop very heavy things onto it. And I also put gravity, but put it as very limited gravity, so it pulled things down a bit slowly. It was quite functional, but like the week after I finished it, they introduced these grinders, like grinders that you put on the front of your ship that were much more efficient, and it just makes a lot more sense to use them than it does to do the system I was using. But I mean, it was fun while it lasted, and it was a great project. I spent weeks and weeks working on it because it took a lot of time to get all that steel plating, all that stuff in the right place. It was on the best build I ever did. It was an asteroid base, which I think I still have somewhere. I don't think the asteroid base that I have, the copy of it I have, has the welding chip on, but maybe at some point I'll show that around if people are interested. Because I was quite proud of it. Before there was any sort of voxel tools, I found an asteroid and like chiseled it out so it was completely flat in certain areas so I could walk on them properly. It took ages, but I really enjoyed it, and it was so like fulfilling to do. So maybe I'll show that at some point. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this stuff and build a up. Lovely. That's totally what I meant to do. Didn't mean to scare myself at all. Okay, we should start going down now. Down in how much we have. Unless this cargo container is full, which is not. So, do we have the same problem as before? No, not at all. Then what's going on here? The connector... connector, collect all. Why is it not pulling everything? Maybe if I set my connector to throw all out. How's the inventory doing now? Why is it not pulling things? That's so annoying. I mean, I'll just manually do it, but it's just annoying. I mean, I didn't want to have to do this. Well, that just puts it into my inventory. In the comments below, if you know what's going on right now, let me know, because it's really annoying. Is it that this is full and it's not? What the hell is going on? Let's try deconnecting. Oh, I know what's happening right now. The connector is set to throw out, and so I bet we've got some, yeah, there's stuff blocking it. Oops, how stupid. Again, my stupidity is boundless. See, there's some more stuff in there now, so it is picking up. Maybe it just goes a lot slower than I expect. Let's get back in, reconnect, and then I tell you what, we'll go and take a stroll. Is it going up slowly? I mean, those weren't in there before, right? We emptied this out, so stuff is happening. Yeah, okay, it's pulling stuff out. So let's exit, and we'll take this opportunity to build the gravity engine. What's it called? Gravity generator. Gravity engine. That's the thing. I saw when gravity generators came out, there was a ton of people, loads and loads of people posting those gravity engines where you can move by attaching a gravity generator and gravity blocks to your ship. It was so popular. I mean, I understand the appeal. It's just a cool way to locomote. But it was so popular for ages, and I think you can still find loads of them. Just curious. It's just a strange thing, because it's not the most efficient way. I guess no. I should control myself. I mean, it is a cool thing to have figured out another way of doing something. It's not what they're intended for, and here's a cool way of doing something with it. So I mean, I retract my statement. It's not a strange thing, but it did caught me by surprise. Catch me by surprise. It didn't even catch me by surprise. Honestly, I know what I'm talking about. It just popped into my head, and I started talking about it. This is the folly of being a YouTuber. Right? I have no idea what I'm saying or why. I also have no idea where our other two gravity generator components are. So we might not actually be able to have gravity. Oh no. Oh, that's a real problem, guys. If they're not in the ship, that is a real problem. Because we have 57% hydrogen left. Oh no. Yeah, they must have floated away. Oh, buggery. I'm sorry for saying buggery. Some people are offended by it. I personally am not. It's just a word. Shit poodles. Okay, well then, we're not having gravity right now. No gravity for you today, kids. Oops. Not really sure how exactly one deals with that. What we're going to do is build the second cargo container. And hope for the best after that, because we just need to wait for Basically, we're just waiting on a we're waiting on a ship to show up. We're waiting on our ship to come in. I think that song's about death, isn't it? And once again, I've forgotten that you construct cargo containers with interior plates. I was like, "Ooh, why can't I build this cargo container?" There you go. At some point, I would like to have this ship set up as a like an attached little building ship. So have a long series of connecting hinges, because they can convey power. Oh, but I'd like it for them to. I was thinking that I'd like this ship to be able to fly around, and did I? Okay, I haven't turned that off. That's why I took damage. I think. What's happening? Why am I taking damage? Got oxygen. I think it was just a welder. I must not have. It must have been like lag or like leftover weld damage. Okay, just needs 20 motors. I bet there's 20 motors in here. 20 motors, about 100 motors. See, look, I mean, this at the start of the game right now, we are not lacking for resources, but it's going to happen pretty quick because, I mean, because we have a whole exploded ship behind us, and it was quite a large ship, right? We'll never run out of interior plates, not interior plates, steel plates. But, like, for example, some of the rarer resources, like gravity generators that you can make after a little while without much stress in... let me just check the gravity generator is not still there and I didn't finish welding it. Yeah, some of the more rare resources that you can eventually make without too much difficulty. Sorry, something weird was happening with my voice. I think it was a burp. That you can make without too much difficulty. You just can't produce here without getting your hands on them first. Like without getting them from somewhere else. So, for example, what we're doing right now is a dangerous thing to be doing. We are going to die and we aren't going to be able to respawn in our ship. And I'm not really comfortable with the fact of respawning somewhere else if we don't get our hands on some components for gravity generation. Did we perhaps collect them and put them in... You know what, I think that might be the case. I think they might be in here. Or cross your fingers and hope to... Well, not hope to die, that would be a bit miserable. Come on. Yes! Great. There's 4. Well, we need 4, so that's fine. And then we'll just come and well, grind this in a second so that we don't have to have that problem happen again. Good. And we'll pull out the stuff we needed. What else was it? Ah, computers. So our storage situation is pretty solved. We will build a more efficient way of handling our grinding, because I would like to at some point finish this ship, like get it all cleared up, but it would be unlikely in this little craft. Maybe if I put the 2 welders back on now that we grinders, now that we might have enough resources to build a welder ourselves. Build a second ship. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've got gravity. That is going to use our fuel really quick. So we're going to put this to fairly low. Like, we need enough gravity that when our jetpack's off... Is it a weird orientation? Am I leaning? Is there another source of gravity? It does seem like we're leaning, doesn't it? Is there a setting that I can change it? Maybe I've moved the center or something. That's so strange. It really does feel like we're leaning. I guess it's just perspective. It looks better now. Yeah, okay, it's fine. So we'll have to be careful not to do that. But now it won't use so much of our gravity. So much of our power. So, yes, we have this. Let's build... what do we need next? That would be helpful to us. A beacon, yes. We haven't got any radio components, but we can put the beacon down to remind us that we need it. Now, with the beacon, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to have the beacon independent, so that if the power ever goes off, the beacon will still be on. And I'll give it enough solar panels when we get solar panels to... I don't know what I got in here. Give it enough solar panels so that when the power goes out... no, actually, you know what? I'm going to put a beacon down, and that'll be enough for now. And then when we have some more usable resources, we're going to make the beacon independent. Until then, though, I think it would be a lot of resourcing for not a huge amount of gain. So we're also going to build another connector. So we have one that always pulls and one that always pushes. But again, we haven't got a very strong building game here, so it wouldn't make sense to be able to... Like, this isn't big enough for that strategy to work. This is not a big enough ship for the strategy of just having everything pull into this to make it more functional. We're actually better off just keeping what we've ground into it, only emptying it when we want to ground something specific, and then just manually transferring everything else. Like, all we need to transfer is 40 steel tubes, and I think our inventory can handle that. Oh, 30. Again, I'm playing with the settings a bit different. The inventory size a bit up. I'm really surprised not to have seen another cargo ship, but I suppose their spawns are actually quite rare. We should go and check. I haven't actually checked if the radio tower is intact on this ship. It's usually here. Based on a quick glance at the structure. There's nothing left alive in here, but it's worth checking. It might actually be faster to weld these a little bit, because that puts them into shape. And it doesn't really matter. Just so that we can see what's going on. Yeah, it's supposed to be here. Well, I can't weld anymore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be there. And there is nothing there. Okay, let's follow around to see if there's any components we can pull out that's very useful. So there's a gyroscope here. It's just got... Wow, 5,000 was that? 500. Gyroscope there. Oh, we've got a little container here. Anything in it? No. Oh, air vent here. We may want to set up some... What do I need for an oxygen generator? Because then that would solve us another problem. Oh, I can build an oxygen farm. That is wonderful. We are going to build an oxygen farm. Because that's one of our big problems solved. We aren't running out of oxygen right now. I think our tank is... How's our tank doing? This is basically where we've been getting our oxygen. That's the reason it's not going down. Because every time we get in, we get some more oxygen. Hydrogen is another thing where we are running out of hydrogen. That was my alarm. I'm going to have to cut that out because I think it's copyrighted music. It's Carrie Pamu Pamu playing Mortainai. So yeah, just ignore that. But I will be cutting out anyway. So, but I think mentioning its name's fine. I don't really know much about this YouTube stuff. I'm going to have to use my jetpack just to get the right angle on this. This is not all going to be built on one level. I don't want to start building a miserable little base that's all like one flat dimension thing. So one plane, one level. So we're going to build out a little bit here so that we have a contained area. And hopefully we're going to make this just a little bit bigger so that we can fit a med bay. Now that I think I'm going to try the build mode from here, because there is a build mode. And you can enter it. B? I'm just going to pause for a second and get the build mode controls. It is B, so now I guess we can place blocks. No, I don't know how build modes work, so I'm just going to move this over so we can have the resources there in it. First though, since this we've made some good progress, I'm going to call the episode a day here. I'm gonna weld this up first. Give this a good weldy weld. Oh, no interior plates. I think that's probably what we're missing there. Plenty of steel plates though. There you go, get them in the middle. So there's no cargo container showing up, which is a little bit disconcerting because we really do need it. Okay, so I think we're going to end the episode here. We've got these all nice and welded up. We've made a lovely little bit of okay, that's clearly already full. Got a little bit of base. We have two large cargo containers, very large cargo containers. We have some nice gravity. We've got some little bit of power, but that's not going to last very long. What we need most of all is some access to resources. We need cargo ships. I might up the spawn rate since this game kind of relies on them spawning in. I'll see, because it does feel a bit odd, but it definitely is necessary. So I guess we'll see soon. But I think I probably will. Just a little bit of a disclaimer. I died tragically, but it was such a hassle to figure out how to get back here. I'm not going to show it, but I'm just going to tell you I died tragically. I got out of my ship, I left the welder on, and I died after saying whoa, whoa, whoa. I think I might have left the whoa, whoa, whoa in, so I think you'll probably have seen that. And then afterwards, it was such a hassle getting back here. I had to download Space Engineer's Toolbox so I could copy my coordinates and then fly back here because we haven't got a beacon right now. But I hate using the coordinate system. I feel like it's such a cheat. It doesn't make sense. Why would we even have beacons if you could just send each other the coordinates and just get in touch like that and find whale bases like that and so on. So I used the coordinates and I flew back here, and now I think I don't own any of them. No, I still own it. I don't know why ownership hasn't reset. Yeah, so I flew back here. That's why my hydrogen's gone up and why there was the GPS coordinates were on my HUD a second ago, and I just cut to change that. I was thinking of not telling anyone, but I can't lie to you guys. You guys are my favourite internet people. You really are. You really are my favourite internet people. Whatever that means, that is up to you to decide. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Oops, I just bonked my my ship. So we're going to end it here. A little buzzy bee flying about. There's our little station. Maybe I'll give it some colour next episode. But next episode we need to finish our oxygen room. It's going to be here. And we're going to hope for a cargo ship to spawn. And then we will really get things kicking. We will have to chase it in this. I'm going to put this onto charge so that when we come back we'll have some more power. I mean, that power's not going anywhere anyway. So it makes sense. We should probably get some batteries on here too. So we've got some backup power if things go wrong. I should probably get better at navigating. Is the power going up? Oh, I guess actually our power's being... let's put it all onto charge. I should probably make a group of these. Batteries, save. I'll put them on recharge. And then we'll have them all powered up pretty soon. And then we're going to hope for... Turn that off. We're going to hope for some more... we're going to hope for some more cargo ship spawns. Because we've only had one and it was a deadly, deadly horror. So we couldn't use that one. So anyway, we're going to end the episode here. And we will see you next time. This has been Jester of None. I hope you enjoyed the series so far. If you want anything in particular, don't forget to leave a comment. And also, I'd really appreciate it if you like or subscribe if you want to. Thanks for your time. I've been Jester of None. Yeah, you're scared, aren't you? You're scared. Yeah, you better run. Go on. Oh, there's two of them. I'm going to run. I'm running. Oh, I almost ran into fire. Flee, 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 flee. Flee, 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 flee.